Hello guys, in this video I will tell you about the most impressive build in the warrobots game, and as you can see it is a Bagliore robot with 4 Gauss weapons. This build can one-shot almost any robot in the game, starting with the meta bots and ending with some titans. Now I will explain to you why it is so strong and how can this robot easily destroy all new meta bots. But firstly I want to tell you that I have my own creator code MihanVR. If you enter this code in the warrobots webshop, you will greatly support me and take away 5% of Pixonic revenue. Also, a quick reminder that you don't need to pay extra money for entering the code. Thank you to everyone who supports me, I really appreciate it, guys. Now let's move to the Bagliore. Firstly, I want to tell you why the damage is so high. We have here 4 solid Gauss weapons that deal an extremely high damage in just one shot. Somebody can say that maybe Prisma weapons are better, but they deal damage during quite a long amount of time, while Gauss just makes one shot with all available maximal damage. For those who didn't know, Gauss is a railgun sniper weapon that works on 800 meters and ignores all defense systems, points and damage resistance. Now let's see why the damage is so high. As you probably noticed, Gauss is a tier 3 weapon and it is one of the most important things. To put it simply, all tier 4 weapons have a special collection debuff. It means that if your enemy destroys many robots with tier 4 weapons equipped on them, for example Fengbao will deal less damage and effects to this enemy next time. But these debuffs are available only for tier 4 weapons, while Gauss is tier 3, so it doesn't get any debuffs and can deal a full damage to any opponent. The second very important thing for increasing the damage is Bagliore's passive ability, groundwork. Also, to put it simply, while you are not shooting and recharging your Gauss, Bagliore accumulates extra damage stacks. You can accumulate maximum 12 stacks and get 5.8% extra damage for each stack, which is 70% extra damage in total, which is extremely a lot. And this is also the reason why the Crisis is much weaker than Bagliore. Also, this robot has a main active ability Flash and Escape, but it is useless for a sniper robot, so we'll turn it off a bit later. Bagliore has a 400,000 health, which is quite a lot for a sniper, and 35 km per hour of speed, but in fact we don't need more because, as I said many times later, it is a sniper robot. Another important thing for increasing our damage are pilot skills. I have here an Agent pilot which gives us 5% extra damage. You can say that Basil Lapatea is better, but it only works on 800 plus meters, so in fact it is totally useless for our Gauss, because they shoot only at exactly 800 meters and not more. So the Adrian is the best choice. 3 main skills are Dodger to recharge an active model faster, Powerman to recharge Gauss weapons faster, and a Daredevil pilot skill that turns off useless ability and gives us another 18% of extra damage. Other skills are not so important, so if your budget is limited, firstly upgrade only 3 mentioned skills. I also know that Dodger seems strange here, but now I will explain to you why is it so important. We have a hero called John here, and to put it simply, it gives us 30% extra damage and 30,000 extra health while we use an active model. More times you use your active model means more health you can stack and more damage you will deal. I think now you understood why Dodger skill is so important for us. Also, maximal amount of stacks is 8, so you can get only 240,000 of extra health, and totally your robot will have about 800,000. Also keep in mind that extra damage doesn't stack, it is only active about 6 seconds after model use. Hiriko also gives you 10% bonus health and can deal 21,000 damage in close range fights with its built-in shotgun. And now let's move to the most important part of our build, specialization. I have a damage dealer here that gives us 6% extra damage, and 2 passive models here are Nuclear Amplifier and Rangefinder unit. Nuclear Amplifier is the best passive model in the game, because it gives us additional damage when we deal damage. Maximum we can stack 76% of extra damage. Also, when you fully charge this model, it will repair 100,000 health and give you 25% defense mitigation. And Rangefinder unit just gives us 20% extra damage at a distance more than 600 meters. As an active model, I have a Shield Breaker here. It is a quite underrated active model, but it shows itself just amazing. Also, never forget to upgrade all specializations to get 11 of 11 permanent effects and receive these bonuses. I explained to you my setup, and now let's jump into the battle and see how this underrated beast destroys stupid meta robots. And as usual, I will tell you some gameplay tips and advices during the battle. And the first advice is always to look around. It seems to be easy, but in fact when you are playing on this build, almost any member of enemy team wants to destroy you, so you need to control all the sides. Also, sometimes you can find somebody to destroy in the right moment, because usually enemies don't expect you to control all the map. The second tip is to activate your active model every shot, at least first 8 shots. It also may seem hard to remember, but you will learn quite fast, and then your finger will like automatically use an active model while you start shooting. This skill is extremely important because, as I said before, we receive extra 30% damage on model use, so if you activate it, you will have more damage and charge a nuclear amplifier much faster. The third advice is sometimes to shoot your weapons one at a time, not all at once. This can help you to destroy enemies with last stand or some kind of shields and resistance. Like, firstly you will deal damage up to their last stand and then shoot through it with last shot, because Gauss ignore all defense systems. The first advice is to destroy firstly weak robots or those who you exactly know you will destroy, so you will charge your mothership much faster. And the last advice is to choose a Bagliore only on maps where it will be playable. The best maps for this setup are Shenzhen, Springfield, Factory, Canyon and Castle, while the worst maps for this build are Valley, Ground Zero and Moon. Other maps are like Neutral, where it all depends on your skill. Now this video comes to the end. I hope it was useful for you and you will upgrade the only build that can counter all new meta robots. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, I always answer. Also, please use my Orso code Mihanver in the webshop, so Pixonic will get less revenue. Thank you very much for watching this video, give a like, subscribe to my channel and bye bye!